So I think to everyone's surprise, we just got a new trailer for Sonic Frontiers Update 3. And while not a lot was revealed about the game, we did get information about a new Supersonic form. At least that's what I think it is. But let's dial it back and go through the trailer bit by bit. The trailer opens with Sonic walking around in some sort of landscape that looks similar to Kronos, Uranus, or Rhea. Now it's up in the air which island this will actually take place on, but you know what, I'm thinking it could even be Rhea because that island is still severely underutilized in the main game. After that shot of Sonic, we get to see all of his friends, Amy, Tails, Knuckles, and then Sage and Dr. Eggman. Now, Amy, Tails, and Knuckles appear to all be in their cyberspace forms, which is giving me a little bit of a worry that this playable characters will only be playable in cyberspace, and that the main campaign of the DLC will also just be new cyberspace levels, which I wouldn't be opposed to. It is still provided for free, of course, but I still would like to see Amy, Tails, Knuckles playable in the open world. And next we get to see a shot of what appears to be an upgraded Supreme just with multiple arms. Sonic then brings out the Chaos Emeralds, which suggests that this is indeed set after the events of Frontiers when he's gathered all of them, post the final island. Instead, this time he releases some red energy, which is similar to the energy that the End had. What's curious about this is this then causes Supersonic to turn a little different, and by that I mean he just gains a few new particles and his eyes turn blue. So this is where a lot of discussion is going to be. Is this a new form, or is this just a powered up version of Supersonic, which is my theory. Pre-Frontiers release, there was a lot of discussion about Sonic getting a new form because of the corruption that was called Cybersonic, and a lot of the concepts rolling around were actually pretty cool about that. But unfortunately, Frontiers ended up not having a new form, so I think Kishimoto sees this and they're going to try to rectify this in the new update. And one theory that I have is that Amy, Tails, and Knuckles are playing through their own campaigns and levels, and then they get something at the end that helps power up Supersonic into this new form. He gains some sort of cyber energy that allows him to become more powerful than before to defeat this big new threat. The cyber energy also helps him fight off a new version of the corruption introduced in Sonic Frontiers, just to give that element a little bit more levity. If this is true, which there's completely no guarantee of anything because we didn't really get much information, that would be a really cool way to tackle some elements of the original Frontiers that felt a little bit underwhelming. Then we get the reveal of the name of the update, the Final Horizon. Horizons were definitely heavily used in the marketing of Sonic Frontiers, being featured in I'm Here, and a bunch of other promotional material. So as a name, this really just makes sense. And then the trailer ends with a September 28th release date, alongside promises of a new story, new playable characters, and new challenges. So we really didn't get any information about the gameplay of the update, which is I'm sure what most people were curious about, but the new story seems to be heading in a pretty interesting direction. Sonic being red at the beginning of the trailer and then turning to this new blue Cyber Supersonic, or whatever we're gonna call it, really just solidifies it in my mind that we're fighting a new form of the corruption, an evolution of the End basically. My theory is that we start off with a playable Sonic and then lose a fight to a newly corrupted version of Giganto maybe. Sonic is then almost fully corrupted and his friends have to go save the Chaos Emeralds and get a new cyber power-up thing to help him fight off the corruption. Or maybe they can even separate it where Sonic looks for the Chaos Emeralds and his friends look for a cyber power-up. But that's just a silly idea for me. There's a lot of places they could take the story for this Final Horizon update, and I'm obviously just making a silly prediction. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen down in the comments below. Now, as for the gameplay side of things, all I'm hoping is that the new characters feel fun to play as, which is a bit basic, but you know, it's Sonic Team, so. Now, I have seen a few of the leaked animations for the new game, and don't worry, I will be showing it here or anywhere, so if you want to see leaks, go look them up yourself. But the ways they've implemented each playable character seems to suggest that they are going to be playable in the open world as well. And the movesets they have look completely different from any other iteration we've ever seen in the series, which is a good thing. I want to see some new experimentation with how these alternate gameplay styles are going to work, as long as they don't stray too far from the main game. The last thing I would want is another avatar, even though the drill was pretty fun to abuse. I'm also assuming that every character is going to use Sonic as the base for their movement with the spin dash and the boost, but Tails is going to have his flying, obviously, and hopefully Knuckles has his glide. And one thing I'm also hoping for is that they let us play as Supersonic in the actual open world of Frontiers. Now this is a bit of a far-fetched claim, and I don't think they're going to do this, but it'd be really cool. Almost every other Sonic game that has Supersonic allows you to play as him in the main game. And even though it's going to be harder in Frontiers, I still hope they at least try. Not like you can break the game more than it already is. Overall, I'm really glad that the post-launch support is a lot more than I originally thought it was going to be. At first I thought all the updates were going to be lame up until the third one, and the first one was a bit lame, but the second one really changed how the game plays, and I hope the third one changes the game in a similar aspect. Although it might be doing even more with a new story and new playable characters. I'm definitely going to try and stream the new update as soon as it comes out on September 28th. So however this update turns out, whether good or bad, I'm still really excited for the future because it really seems like Kishimoto and the dev team are listening to our complaints. Now, they obviously can't fix the open world level design in every single issue with the game, but but I think the sequel, or whatever game they decide to make next, is going to be pretty good. At least now they have a good base to work off, with multiple playable characters, a fun controlling Sonic, and a pretty interesting direction for the story. At least, I hope. I'm really excited to see what comes of the Sonic Frontiers Final Horizon update, and eagerly await the launch in just 1 month. But for now, that's it for me. Davron, signing off, and let me know if you want to see more Day 1 coverage of Sonic news like this.